I don't know if that flipped. Alright, what's going on, guys? So, I'm starting on a quick project. Well, hopefully be a quick project. So, I've mentioned it before, but Rodimus13 came up with this really cool thing. And this video won't come out until after that, so it doesn't matter. So, he created a Ghostbuster type guard frame. So, I wanted to do something along those exact lines. So he actually loaned me his custom parts. He made this scratch built little trap here and a kit bash slash scratch build proton pack and gun and all that. So he loaned it to me so that I could copy his design, but I'm going to base it off of his design. But just going off of the original proton pack image, which I've got a screenshot right here. I've got a few extra parts laying around, and I'm going to build my own version of it, call it like a 2.0 or something like that. I'm also going to try to upgrade his trap a little bit, because he's got the very basic design. I think I can improve on it, just a little bit better scratch building. Not an insult to his work or anything like that, but I even told him, like, look, if I can improve this and I can make two, do you want it? I will give it to you. So I'm going to try to do that. But I'll show you off what we've got going so far. And I haven't even busted out like the scratch building stuff yet. Mind you, I'm taking a break from my Double October stuff to do this. Alright guys, so I've made some progress. So using the stand from the ball, you see I just did that number, glued the ring onto the back of the radome thingy, and then glued this part on here. I'm going to put a piece of plate on there just to make it flush and then do extra work to it. I left that tab on there so that I could do this number. I cored out the backpack so that it will fit inside. Damn thing. Like that. I'm probably going to just put a backing plate on there, and then I'll add the little thruster guy, or little part there hanging out the bottom, so it's still reminiscent of Thomas's here. I'm going to plate this just to make it a flush surface. I'm probably going to try to drill a couple, like the 4 holes after putting the plate and button on. So, and then the sides here are going to be built out. I just thought about it. I was about to use the little side parts there for that. I'm going to glue those on so it's all one big piece. But so far so good, only a couple hours. And I was looking at the gun to see what I could modify. I'm not entirely certain yet, but I'll figure it out. Just so I've got an image of the proton pack and stuff like that so I can really look at things. But let's see here, just the parts I need. The only problem is that this is ABS right here, so I got to be careful how I apply it, because it may not stick. So that's why I'm gonna encase this a little bit better. I had to cut off a little more than I meant to, so now it's a little bit ugly. So I just need a couple pieces of sheet to close that off a little bit better. But I think it looks pretty good. I filled in that piece there just so it has a side detail to it. Things like that, just little stuff to sort of improve the design he's got there. It's basically gonna be like an upgraded pack at this point. And then I've got to figure out where to put this little guy as well. So he's probably gonna go, well, basically right there, kind of like he's got it. So yay for that. Yay. Alright guys, so I kind of neglected to film things, like for a good chunk of yesterday. Alright, so once again, there's Thomas's backpack, and then his trap. Now, I made a lot of progress yesterday, and just didn't film most of it, and got to this degree here. So, after applying a lot of different cuts of plate, and even some wires, and making use of some super glue, and applying stuff from now kits I don't need. I've got this essentially done. Now I do need to get a little bit more wire to go from there to there, and then I need to drill another hole somewhere up under here to go to this guy, and I need a good thick, like, hard wire like he's got there. A good solid core hunk wire would be great. And then I'll call at least the proton pack done. I mean, like, I've got a lot of stuff, and this is all pretty much kit bash parts. Like, those were beam sabers along with a couple other extra pieces. That's the shield mount for Exia. That's a bit of a gun. I don't even know what it was from. That piece of the stand, the barrel of the rifle, the little gun, just kind of integrated into there. So honestly, I think it's come out incredibly well. Obviously, I went way more into the details than Thomas did, and it's not a bragging thing. It's just the way I did it. Now my 4 little holes there got a little screwed up and a little bit off center. That was really hard to do, if I'm going to be honest, using my pin vise. And this one was so off and also drilled down through everything that I just covered it with that thing. I don't care. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just, I captured a lot of the details that the actual proton pack had. So mine's basically going to be like the upgraded version. His is like the prototype. We've already kind of talked about it. So I need to do the same thing for the trap. I'm not doing that today. I've got to get back on Double October now that I realize I'm running out of time. But I've got all my parts together here and stuff like that. So when I got my Double October builds done, I can get back on that. I'm going to scratch build the trap. And then once again, I need to find some wire. But I have pile to go. So there's that. So I'll see you guys then. What's up, guys? So, long overdue update to the guard frame build. I'm actually to the painting stage. I've done a lot of building. I just wasn't filming it. So I finally got the proton pack done. Ignore the wire hanging off. That's for painting purposes. It's like that one is still attached. The other wire came out, so that one's going to require a little bit more glue. I need to mask off at least the bundle of wires. Everything else can be painted as is, and then like later on I'll deck out different things in different colors and things like that. So that's done. The gun slash wand or whatever. The gun slash wand is finished. Looks good. Kind of hard. The phone doesn't focus. And then last night, or yesterday, I built a ghost trap. Now this does need a little bit of cleanup, because there's little things that I have not even touched, like these little knobs or whatever they are on the side. I haven't even done that. I gotta figure out how I'm going to do the stripes. Like, I etched them, but they're not perfect. The first ones I did were way too big, and I figured I needed to double it up, so I scribed very crookedly. So, I mean, I guess I could fill all those in, but this was a lot of fun. This is a full-on scratch build and then some kit bashery, so to speak. You know. And then I've got all this stuff ready for paint, so that's everything that needs to be black, except for the weapons. And then this is everything that's going to be the tan color. So I've got a few colors. I've got the deck tan that I got for the Anubis build that I've now given up on. I've got a little bit of pure white, that's just for the head and the neck. It's the only thing that's white on these guys. I've only got 2 reds, the clear red and the mica red, so I'm going to go with the mica red. That's going to be for the, just kind of it's invoking the fins on Ecto 1, so to speak. That's just going to go on the back of the head. And then any other red work I'm going to do with Gundam marker or something like that and brush on, because usually like small stuff, highlighting, things like that. Hopefully I've got enough German gray to cover up all these other parts right here. All of that's going to be German gray. That's basically going to be evoking the knee pads and then just stuff like that. And then matte black, which is going to be my best friend today. So obviously there's a lot that's going to be matte black. So that's that. The only thing that's going to suck is I have to mask off a few things as I go. Oh, I need to get out of yellow. I forgot about that. Because one thing I thought about doing was, with the trap, do the doors yellow first, because I'm going to be painting over white. And then mask off the stripes for the yellow, and then paint the black. Because everything's going to be black. So I think that's what I'll do. I think I'm going to mask off everything but the doors. Hit that with a yellow blast. And then go from there. Should be fairly simple to do, but I've got like a few things like the elbow pads on the elbows there. So I'm going to paint it brown first, mask off, and then hit it with the gray. I figured it'd be easier. Going the other way, actually, I looked at it, it was actually going to be harder, so I decided not to do it that way. Some masking on the backpack, like I said, covering up the bit. But what's really cool, the way I engineered this, I didn't have a mount the same way that Thomas did on his. He uses one of the weird shield mounts from a Thunderbolt, where it's got the multi-pegs and the right angle bend. But I had this weird handle that I don't know what it's from. I have a weird parts kit that I don't know what it is, random weapons and it's purple stuff. It might be something from IBO, I don't know, I can't recognize the parts. But I had this handle on it, but I needed a way to attach it. So this is actually one of the little Vernier ball joints that I had from my Vernier kit. And it swivels and then it attaches to a clip on the hips. So that worked out the way I wanted to. It's a little bit bigger than I wanted, and I had to resize it several times. Well, several times. So I had the plate that's there on the bottom was actually the full bottom of this thing. It was like the base, but it made it too tall, like too thick. So I broke it loose and then set it in. You know, I trimmed off the edges and then set it in, and it sanded it about as clean as I could get it. And then just using little parts from different things to simulate the sides of the trap. Now what's dumb is, so the buttons slash knobs or whatever they are, knob should have been on this side. I got my details backwards. And then that right there, the light, so to speak, that's just a the little nubbin end of a beam saber, just trimmed down, because I have to have the light to let you know if something is captured. That's just going to get hit with, I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of clear red over the top of it, just to make sure it stays red instead of pink. But for the most part, this guy's going to be a pretty simple build, pretty simple paint job, stuff like that, in theory. And then water slides, which I hate water slides, but it's what we're doing. I have pictures of Thomas's for reference, so that I know where the color separation is and stuff like that. So I'm just hoping that certain things like this guy come out clean in the paint. I've sanded, I've trimmed extra nubs and things like that. So I spent a good bit of time yesterday cleaning all the excess glue and stuff off of this guy. So hopefully it should be good to go. But what I'm reticent, I have to add that extra wire back in. So that sucks. Maybe I'll do that before the paint. Go ahead and set it in there. Glue it in on the one end like I did with that, and then let it sit, dry, and then I can pull the wires off to the side, no big deal, because I couldn't leave them there, they were in the way of the paint. So it's one problem. I glue things in place and then have to paint around them. But for the most part, it's all the same color. So we do what we do. And I think I'm going to, like with I think I'm going to give them that same kind of brushed look, the worn metal look that I've done with like all my Transformers weapons and stuff like that. With, hit it with a little bit of the silver or the gunmetal rub from the weathering set. And then a little bit of dry brushing. Thomas went a little bit heavy-handed on his. He's still working that stuff out. It looks good, but it's a little heavy-handed. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on it than he did. A little cleaner. And his is like filthy. I don't really want mine to be filthy because mine's supposed to be like the 2.0, like the new version, the upgraded version. So that's what I'm going to work with. But I need to get to work. I'm off today, and then I work 2 days. I got to get my physical tomorrow. Hopefully I've lost some weight. We've been working out. I went for a walk. I went for a 2.5 mile walk last night. Killed my feet, but it was worth it. And I'm going to drink a lot of water today. Just hydrate the crap out of myself, basically. I'm supposed to be getting some rain at some point today, so I got to paint what I can while the sun is shining, so to speak. And I was trying to edit things, and my freaking software was acting up. Kept opening a window, like to edit text, and then I couldn't access that window. And then everything is frozen. I can't do anything because that pop-up is supposed to be there. So, because I'm trying to get the Double October diaries out, since I've only got a few of those to go. Speaking of Double October, because you guys seen this after the fact, or during the fact, I don't know how that's going to work out. I got to finish Grandpage, who is here. So Grandpage is done being built. I have to sand and things like that, and then break down and paint. I have the color scheme and all that already laid out, so that's not a problem. I got to get that done pretty quick because I'm running out of time in the month, and I got to get this built because we're going to show it off at the same time what Thomas is, I believe. So, and he's got his back with the exception of his trap, which I still needed to take measurements off of, which I accidentally blew up by 10%. Because apparently that's what happens when you try to measure stuff. You end up actually going over. But I got work to do. So I've got I have one more review to do with the SD and things like that. So now I got to go to the bathroom. Walking into the dark. Boof.